All right, so welcome back to the Combat Chat podcast. It's your boys, Shane, Trent, Hugh. How are we today, fellas?
Excellent.
Excellent, as always.
Doing well.
Nice to see.
Yeah.
I like it every week. She's just going, I'd rather be fighting. But...
Doing my best.
So, like today, this is episode 125, and we have a special guest on from there. So, just running off from her like accomplishments from that, I'll go from the bottom up. So, WKBF New South Wales State Champ, a Waco Oceania Champ, 2 times Waco Australian Champ, an IFMA Junior World Champion, gold medalist. Also going into 2018 IFMA World Silver medalist. IFMA Arafura gold medalist, 3 times MTA Australian champ. Oh, so many words. 2 times WMC Australian champ. That's the main one from there. And IFMA World Champion gold medalist and Breakthrough Fighter of the Year award 2019. We have from Phoenix Gym in ACT, Zoe Putorak. How are you?
Yes. Well, thanks yourself, guys.
Going great, thank you. Thanks for coming on, having a chat with us.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, it's been a while since we had a girl on, you know. I think, well, the only other girl on...
And a woman.
Yeah, a woman.
Yeah.
True, fair enough.
Yeah.
My bad, man. Yeah, see, you're Linda Schmidt was the
I
other
got in trouble for
Yes.
calling someone a lady the other day.
Yeah?
I've been corrected.
Have we not had anyone on since Yolanda?
No.
That was not recent either.
I'm a busy dude. You know? Alright, so look, every time that we have someone new on from there, we always just go like the very first question is like, so how did you get yourself into martial arts, and why did you start getting into martial arts as well?
Okay, so it was just kind of by accident that I got into martial arts. So growing up, I was like always doing sports, like whether it be like softball or dancing or whatever. I was always doing something. My brother as well, he's 5 years older than me, and he started to do football when he was, I don't know, maybe like 13 odd, and I really wanted to do it, but Mum and Dad were like, no, you can't do football. I was like, oh, whatever, picky battle sort of thing. So Reese's Football Club went to Phoenix Gym for like a little training session with the guys, and just, Anthony runs different programs for them so they could go in. And when they went in, I'm a really annoying little sister, so I wanted to go watch them. And I was sitting in the ring and I was watching them, train and do whatever they were doing. And I thought it looked like so much fun. And so I got Mum and Dad to sign us up like that week. And yeah, that was 2008, I think it was. So a while ago. But yeah, I haven't really done anything else since then. It's just Muay Thai, and I'm happy with it like that.
Well, definitely, like with this, so far successful career that you had, like why else do anything?
Yeah, no, it's gone all right. Yeah, so I never went out seeking to do a martial art. I never thought I wanted to do something like karate or taekwondo as a kid, because it's karate and taekwondo, but still it was never a want for me to do that. But it turns out it matches pretty well. I'm pretty stubborn, so it helps me definitely in the sport.
And when you started, when you were young, right away, did you really want to push it? Like when you were a kid, did you straight away I want to get in the ring and fight, or was it did that come on a little bit later?
No, yeah, again, that just kind of happened. I was just a kid really enjoying the sport, and I just wanted to keep doing it. I wanted to improve. Of course, there were some days where you don't want to go to the gym, but being a child, you have to do what your parents say. So thanks, Mum and Dad, for making me go. But it wasn't until I got older when I wanted to fight, and Anthony, he more just asked me if I wanted to, or I considered it, and I was like, oh well, maybe I should. It's been in long enough, so may as well try it. So yeah, that's about it, really.
But you say it didn't come to you fighting until you were older. How old were you when you had your first fight?
14.
Yeah, older, right. 14.
Older.
Yeah.
Well, I started when I was 9, so, that's 5 years before having a competition.
That's a long time to wait for a fight, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, but I don't know, it was pretty good. And I'm really glad that I did start at such a young age. Because I feel like even if I was to like stop now, I'd still have those skills with me, and it's just like riding a bike, you know.
Yeah.
As soon as you start doing it again, you've got all the motor skills to do it.
Yeah, definitely. So, like, talking about your first one, what was the experience like? Where was it at? Who did you fight, if you remember?
No, I remember. So I fought a young girl called Molly Quirk. So I think I was 14 at the time. She was 16. And we fought on the No Bullfight night show. Grandma. Yeah. So what I do is I've got my trophy up there still, you know. I keep all my trophies. So I fought on his show. And that was the lead up to it. Was cool. It was just training, but intensified, you know, slightly. I'd already been training with the fight team for a few years before that, and it was just more, more pads and specific skills and working on that. I actually went away to Japan maybe like a month beforehand for about 2 weeks, and I was still training when I was in Japan because I was like, I still need to run, I still need to do stuff, you know, I'm fighting, I have to do this sort of thing. It was very annoying because I couldn't eat all the things that I wanted, even though like I was young, I wasn't doing like a big weight cut, but you know, you're watching what you eat sort of thing. And that fight was at 63.5 as well, so that's been like my starting fight weight, and it's my fight weight now too. But yeah, 63.5, really casual, video weigh-in, you know. And yeah, drove up to Sydney the next day, had a good fight. I just remember dancing around the ring, you know. It's so embarrassing to think about. It's such a, I say good fight. I'm like, no, it was pretty bad. I just kept on moving around. It was it's the funniest thing to watch. So we've just sort of left that in the archives, and we don't ever pull that out again. But I remember skipping back to the corner after round one and saying to Anne's like, this is so much fun, you know, like I've never experienced anything like this before. Sure, there'd been like hard sparring days or like in-house sort of sparring days and that, but never actually fighting like in front of a crowd. And it was just unbelievable how much like joy and thrill I got from it. So yeah, I was like, it's so much fun. And Anne's like, all right, that's good, but shut up and listen now, sort of thing. And so be a good girl and just listen. And yeah, I ended up winning the fight, and Molly was really nice. I spoke to her afterwards, shared some Coca-Cola, which is, you know, always good fun after a fight.
Nice.
Yeah, it was definitely like a good introduction. Yeah, because we had a few other people on that show as well. Like we had Lee Fook and Sandra Brew as well, and a few other fighters that I can't remember, but I know we were like a big group there at the time.
Yeah, and I guess it would have been different back then because there wasn't really any CSA back then either. So was your first fight like in headgear, or was it just basically, just in the gloves?
No, just gloves. And I think maybe like the little cloth shin guards, I think. Yeah. But yeah, just gloves, mouth guard, and that was it. So yeah, I'm pretty lucky that I got to have that fight experience being, you know, young, whereas now they have to have like all the protection on. So yeah.
Different, you know.
And obviously, young kids starting now, they more. There's a lot more of like a set structure in place for junior fighters, and your trainer Anthony's kind of been a big part of kind of getting that moving. How do you feel like? What was it like to be? Obviously now, if kids start fighting, it's a lot more that kind of IFMA format. Like it's in gyms a lot more of the time. It's a bit less commercial. Whereas you had your first fight at that age in the real kind of venue setting. Like, how did that feel to be that age? Like, were you kind of just oblivious to the idea of it, or what was it like to kind of get in front of a crowd in an RSL or wherever those shows were?
Well, I've always been someone who's not really afraid of crowds. So, like, when I was younger and I'd do dancing, you know, we would do our Stedfords in front of like, you know, 2,000 people, you know, so it's not something that's new to me. I think, you know, I thrive off it really, and growing up I did acting as well, not very well, but I did it, and so like in plays and that, so there was an audience there. It didn't feel too different to anything that I'd experienced because I'd just sort of grown up with it. But I remember looking out to the audience and seeing my mother, and the poor thing was crying because she hadn't like seen me like that before, and I was like, oh my god, make me feel bad, Mum, but look at this nice big trophy that I have. So, you know, hopefully I like patched it up a little bit. But yeah, I don't think it really had that much of a effect on me because you're so focused on like yourself and your team when you go fight anyway. So I don't really care if there's like one person in the crowd or like 1,000. You're there to win, so may as well do it.
And you think like obviously you know, kids are crazy, so like they don't care. Do you think starting at that age and just kind of being at that age where you don't overthink things like that, do you think that helps you now that you're a bit older fighting? It helps you navigate the nerves and stuff like that because you gain that experience when you're at that young age where nothing really phases you, and you can kind of stack that up. Where did that just kind of allow the fight setting to not be nerve-wracking and just be normal?
It's more like the people that I train with, and because we train hard. We've had really hard sparring days, and like especially when you're just coming into being a fighter and, you know, seeing if you can handle it and all that, you get pushed. And so I just remember before my fight just thinking like, well, no one's as good as like Sandra, no one's going to hit me as hard as Tara, you know, no one is as slick as Lee sort of thing that I'm going to fight. So that helps me and doesn't really make me feel nervous at all. And also having trust in Anthony, knowing that he's not going to match me with someone he doesn't think that I won't win against. So there's a lot of trust throughout all of it. But I don't think being so young, I don't think being so young when I was fighting made much of like an impact on my experience thinking now, because I think everything was just embedded then. You know, trust and hard situations we get put in training, it's all embedded from like day dot. So as you move forward, it's just still there.
Yeah. And you touched on it a little bit there. I was keen to kind of hear what you have to say on this because your trainer, Anthony Manning, is one of a kind. And you've been with him for a really long time. Like you mentioned, like you guys train hard. Describe sort of Anthony as a trainer, like his methods to people who are unaware of how you do things there at Phoenix.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, he's very military. You know, everything's very structured. You know, if you're at the gym to train for a class, if you're on time, you're late. So you get there earlier, you start warming up. You don't ever just hang out by the bags and slowly get your racks on and whatever. You know, you have to be ready to go. And if not, you get punished, you know, or yelled at, or 50 burpees, whatever. So just from having the discipline to begin with of the gym, you sort of get the feel of it. But then, God, when it comes to like actually training, like you can cry, you can spew, like whatever, as long as you don't quit, you're good. So it's all about building that mental strength. So we go through like, you know, a lot of hard rounds, or we do sleds, or just a lot of stuff that really pushes you to your limits. But it's just all about making you mentally strong so you won't quit during a fight.
Yeah, and coming through that as a young kid, sort of like, you know, has your, obviously one of the kind of, I guess, the best things about sticking with a trainer for as long as you have is that kind of like relationship that you build. But you've come through that system that Anthony's a very high expectations, high accountability kind of trainer. Like coming through that as, you know, a kid and a teenager, like did you kind of ever butt heads with Anthony? Did you guys always gel well together? Kind of like, how's that been over the years?
Yeah, no, over the years it's been fine because you don't argue with Anthony. Like, yeah, it's his way, and you know that's just how it is. His way is the best way, so you just shut up and do what you're told. And if you butt heads, I don't know. Well, I haven't really butted heads with him. There's just no reason to, because everything he's doing is for you, for you to be better. And if you don't like it, well, that's your fault. It's your problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes you a lot stronger when you just shut up and deal with it. And I don't think there could be any like worries about it. But yeah.
It's like as well, like especially for Anthony, like his resume just speaks for himself. He runs one of the most best gyms in Australia, and that, and like always produces high quality combatants like yourself, and especially like in terms of like for your team, like a lot of strong female fighters as well. In that one. So it's a very good lineage to come from.
No, of course. Yeah, it's great to have them as well, like as a training partner. I don't go to other gyms. I've never been to like train at any other gyms. So I don't know what their situation's like with their females, but we have such a strong team and such a strong group of females at Phoenix, and I think it all comes down to the way that Anthony's coached us, Yeah. And because we all suffer together, it's like bonding as well.
Yeah, it looks like sometimes I see like some posts about that mountain run that you guys do.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, so we do mountain runs, but I think the one that you're talking about is the Boxing Day kettlebell Mount Majura run.
Yeah,
I have yet to do that one. Okay, I was working last year on that day, unfortunately. But oh my God, it comes up and like you dread it.
It's probably okay to cry on days like those. It's probably okay to cry on days like those.
Oh, hell yeah. I heard there was lots of tears that day. And look, I don't blame them. They were there for like 4 hours. It sounds terrible. I think Lee takes that one, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he knows how to get us to cry as well, yeah.
So, like, going from there, like in your career, like it's great. You've had like a lot of different experiences, and one of them was like doing a few tours of IFMA itself. So like talk us through like your first IFMA experience and like how to go down and like the whole process of like how they run it over there.
Okay, so my first IFMA experience was at the IFMA Junior World Championships in 2016. So I was 17 at the time. I'd just made the age bracket. And it was really, it was just interesting because you fly overseas, and at this point we were in Bangkok in Thailand, and just you're in the same hotel that all the other teams are. And so it's really weird when some people are sizing you up and like, oh, I might be fighting you sort of thing. You never really know. It looks so deceiving. Someone might look like they're 55 kilos, but they might be like 60. So yeah, you have quite a few people that really stone faced in there and just want to start punching on. But that's okay, that's cool. We've all got our own thing. But it was very chaotic. Now that I think about it, like super chaotic. It was my first time being over there, and we had like a massive team that year as well, like heaps of juniors. I think there was like 40 people that like went over with us, like being like athletes and family. Obviously, like being juniors, you've got to have someone to go with you to look after you. But yeah, absolute mayhem. And it's the same for adult worlds. They're all just both organized chaos. But yeah, it was really cool because I never fought anyone from a different country before that. So it was, I just, liked seeing what they were doing for training, and I liked seeing what they were doing fighting, and just how different countries have their own styles. I could sit and watch them train for hours on end because like the Netherlands might be different to Russia, and Russia might be different to China. It's just all completely different, and really amazing what you can see and pick up on and be like, oh, okay, that's really cool. I might try that, and be like, oh, I don't quite understand why they're doing that, but I'm sure it works, sort of thing. Yeah.
And did you find that kind of exposure to just like such, especially when you were younger, that exposure to so many different countries at once, like in the different ways they do it, was that kind of like a building block to just putting new things in? Did you come home like I'm going to add this and this, or did you find it to be a little bit more of just like stacking what you do against what they do, kind of?
Yeah, what I do against what they do, yeah. If Anthony sees something like really cool, he might like bring it back, and we'll work on it at the gym, sort of thing. But like I quite like my fighting style. It's, you know, does all right for me. So if I was to like watch them training, I'm just like fascinated by what they're doing, rather than like trying to look at the little tricks that they're doing, because I quite like the way that I fight. Yeah.
And how would you describe your fighting style to someone who's never seen you fight?
Relentless.
Yeah,
a
that's
bit
how I would
ruthless.
describe it too. Yeah.
Lots of elbows.
Yeah. I don't know. I have fun when I do it though. So, yeah, just a bit. Crazy. It's good fun. Yeah.
And did you always kind of like? Did your style look? Obviously, you get better, but broadly, did you have kind of that same style, that same aggressive demeanor when you first started, or is that something that's kind of
always, yeah. It just comes with the stubbornness. I want to win, so, you know, move forward, be a bit aggressive, and that's the way Anthony taught me, and it works really well, so in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Like, especially like in the IFMA format where like you're usually going to have multiple fights over the course, like a couple of weeks from there. How do you find like doing like the weight cuts every day and like, you know, managing injuries as well? Have you had anything major happen like in IFMA things where you think, oh, I don't know if I can make it to the next fight, but I got to push through?
Yeah. So the last IFMA event that I went to, the World Championships in Bangkok 2019. Not many people know this, but in the first fight that I had there against Ukraine, I ended up having 3 fights in that one. But against Ukraine, my very first fight, I think like we touched gloves and I was taking steps back, and like maybe 5 seconds later, I slipped on some water that was on the canvas, and Ukraine went to do a rib kick. It ended up connecting with my face, and I went down. But I don't really remember that. The only thing I remember is have my teeth been knocked out, and I can't go all this way and waste people's money, so I need to get up and fight, sort of thing. So I was semi-conscious. The ref, in my opinion, should have 8-counted me, just because it was just the way that the IFMA refs are. They tend to like stop things quite quickly or give 8 counts out quite quickly as well. But I suppose I've gotten straight back up, and so I looked like I was fine, but nothing, no recollection of it. And yeah, I think because she didn't 8-count me, I was able to just push on while not really knowing what I was doing. I ended up knocking Ukraine out, I think, in the second round, because it's not like something just switched. It was like a kill or be killed sort of like thing, and I was like, well, I want to be the one on top, and, you know, I don't want to waste people's money. I've come all this way. I'm not going to be out in the first round. And I remember I did a head kick on her, and she went to like, she was falling down, but like her back was turning towards me, and in my head I remember thinking, finish it, sort of thing, but the ref stopped it, so it was all good. And yeah, after people coming up to me saying, oh, you did so well, you know, it was an awesome fight, and I was like, oh, was it? Cool. I didn't know. It just kind of happened, so I had to watch it back and actually see what happened. So yeah, I got I get slight concussion from that, but I was a bit wary going into the next few fights with it, because I think I had a day in between each fight. I was a bit wary because, you know, good brain injury, and I think at that time, it's not a major one, concussion, you know, not a major concussion or anything like that. But, you know, at the time there was this boxer as well who just passed away in a fight, and, you know, you have that playing in your mind, oh my God, but you just kind of, if you want it, you just sort of shut up and deal with it, you know. So that's what you do with injuries. If you're injured in IFMA, it's whatever, everyone else is injured too. You just got to shut up, and if you're hungry, if you want it, go get it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how did the other fights go for you? Like going into that gold medal run.
So I then fought Sweden, and I ended up getting the stoppage because I'd cut her on the corner of the eye. Poor thing. It didn't look like fun. But I won that round, and then I had my gold medal round against USA, and by that stage I was like pretty tired. So I wasn't able to knock her out, unfortunately, but we went the full 3 rounds, and yeah, won on points, and that's about it, really. I was just really tired in that one. I remember hearing Anthony say, "Hit harder, Zoe," and I'm like, "I'm trying."
And you got to go over and, like, obviously, like, amazing achievement to take a gold medal at World Championships, but you also got to go over and do it with your own trainer as head trainer of the Oz team. What's that like?
Oh, it's the best, really. Like, I don't have to rely on someone to look after me, like someone who I don't know, and maybe a coach who'll have his other fighters there, and like he'll like favor them, obviously, like over me. Like I get that, that's fine. Not being their fighter, but each time that I've gone away to IFMA, I've had Anthony with me, besides for the Arafura games. But even then, I had Damo and Lee, who were both my coaches, even though Lee was fighting, but Damo went as a coach as well. So I've always been very lucky that I have my coach to come away as well, who is like, I think he's like managed the team, and now he's like he is the head of the MTA. So having him there, and like him knowing just what's going on in the comp, like at the time, because it can be just very messy and a lot of misinformation out there when you are in the comp. But having him there and like knowing what's going on, and like, all right, we're doing this in training sort of thing, it's very like relaxing, and you don't have to stress or worry about anything.
Yeah. And were you heading back over to Worlds this year?
I was meant to be, yeah. Until the virus, and it was meant to be in Abu Dhabi this year. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Abu Dhabi. That's right. Yeah.
Everyone across the board.
Yeah, yeah. But that was meant to be, I think, only like last month as well. I looked at my calendar. I was like, oh, I'm meant to be there now. That sucks. It was just starting to get cold in Canberra.
I need to get out. But how have you been handling this whole quarantine period?
Yeah, all right. The beginning was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. And the gym was closed for about 10 weeks, so that was really annoying and really sucky. But you do what you got to do, and we were still like training and doing stuff that we could do by ourselves. Like running or go run the mountains or like go hit the bag, whatever. So we're still like training because we want to be fit. We want to not lose our skills and all that. But it was really, really rough. I hated it. So when we finally opened up, I was like a breath of fresh air. Everything's happy again. So I hope we don't do what Victoria did, and I hope we are all good to stay open. Yeah.
Have you got any other hobbies you've been into since the Rona hit?
I started painting. Yeah, I really loved it, actually. It was, I'm a creative person in like the first place, but I'd never really painted before. But I was like, you know what, bugger it. Not feeling really well right now, so I need to do something to have some sort of output. And yeah, I started painting, and that's quite fun. Just paint like landscapes and stuff. Yeah.
That's really cool.
I didn't do anything that productive.
Yeah.
I got through heaps of Netflix. That was it.
Netflix. That's it. I started learning guitar. So yeah.
Oh, shut up.
I know.
Hey.
I'm quite proud of myself. Cool. So going off from there. So at the moment, like you've kind of like fought some like really like the top line in Australia, and if not the world, really, because your division from there, like it's not ultra huge from that one, but like I remember me and Hugh come out in one of your fights against Claire Baxter. That was a great fight.
Mm.
Really like that one.
Yeah, I like that
And I
one.
remember when we were at Nationals, we watched you fight Georgia Smith as well. And also a great fight as well. Do you and Anthony make a game plan like, this is our hit list, this is what we want to accomplish this year? And do you ever look at it as well as going, man, maybe the options are not, there's not many options, we're kind of whittling them down from that.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really have a hit list, but he just sort of puts me against anyone. I'm happy to fight anyone. I don't really care, put someone in front of me, I'll fight him. Yeah. But of course, once you fight, whoever's out there, the list does start to dwindle a little bit, but that's right. We've been looking overseas and we had some stuff planned up for this year, but then Rona happened, so that went out the door, but hopefully it'll, start back up again when everything's good to go. But if we can travel ever again. I'm fairly happy with the people that I have fought because, I fought Claire Baxter, who's a massive name and well known, and Leonie Max as well. I fought the French lady who was the European champion, and I've fought the Swedish champion. Just can't remember off the top of my head now, but heaps of a higher ranked people, so I don't really mind who I fight. It's not like I was ever scared either by fighting them. Just I've always thought, someone's a name or it's just whatever. They're a name, I'm a name too. We'll see who wins. I don't really care. It's just chuck anyone in front of me, and Anthony manages all that sort of stuff for me.
For you personally, is there any standout names that you'd really like to fight?
Is there any person I'd really like to fight?
Yeah, just anyone that you kind of, obviously, you don't care really, you just fight whoever Anthony matches you with. But do you personally have anyone that's someone that I'd really like to get in the ring with?
Nah.
Okay.
Anyone, I'm happy to fight anyone. Really, I don't have a hit list or anything. Just anyone that you throw at me, I'll give it a go.
That's a good one.
Yeah, definitely. Outside of IFMA, do you have any other really memorable fights that you had?
So probably my favourite one would be against Leonie Max. That was for the WMC 63.5 kilo Australian belt, and fighting her for that. That's one of my most favourite fights because at the time, that was when I really decided to step it up. So I quit whatever job I was at the time, and I was like, all right, well, I've got a month until this fight, and I'm going to spend every waking hour just training and being the best that I can be. And it paid off. I'm really happy about it. That was also the fight that I discovered that I really like elbows. So it's it holds a dear place in my heart. There was a lot of blood. That makes me very happy. It was quite fascinating. You never know how much blood can come out of a forehead until you see it. It sounds crazy, but until you see it split open, you're like, oh damn, yeah, that's a fair bit.
That's why your mum's upset. It's all the blood.
Yeah, it's good fun though. I had blood all over me. It was awesome.
I bet nobody messed with you in high school, right?
Sorry?
Nobody messed with you in high school, did they?
Oh, no. No, that'd be cool too, yeah. I don't want to get in trouble either, Otherwise I'd get talking to from Anthony. But Leonie was she was a really big step up for me as well. Fighting her, being someone who's been in the sport for so long and made a name for herself. Yeah. So, that was my first sort of big step up into, the adult division, because I think I was maybe 18, 19 at the time as well when I won that too. So, it holds a really dear place in my heart, that one.
Because that one also, in addition to being for the Australian belt and being such a big step up against a name, coming up, in general, you guys in Canberra don't really get to fight at home. You always have to travel, at the very least, to Sydney and for yourself all over the world. But that was not only in Canberra, that was in, Phoenix Gym was the venue, right? So you actually got to fight pretty much at home.
Yeah,
How
it
many
was
fights are you
insane.
going in
I've never had a crowd like that
Yeah.
before because, like you said, we have to travel
Yeah.
if we want to fight. And, you know, I've had times where there's been no one in the crowd for me. It's just been myself and my trainer, which, like I said, I'm fine with that. But it was so electric when, you know, my fight song started playing, and because I've been talking to like Lee and Damo about it for like ages. So Lee picked out the song, like, this is going to be your song. I'm like, okay, cool, it's going to be my song. And so when it started playing, I was like, oh yeah, you know, it's getting ready, getting excited. And when I was walking out, like everyone was there for me, and it was an incredible feeling, you know, like people that I've trained with, people that I've grown up with, people who I coach, you know, they were all there and they were watching me, and it was just crazy. I've never heard like a crowd roar like that before, so it really, really humbling for me to experience that. So I mean, I probably wouldn't want too many at home where like so many people know you. I quite like being like the outcast and the one who has to go away and the one who's fighting against the crowd, you know, like I quite like having that, but having that moment is definitely not one that I'll forget, like, ever.
Yeah, so like, Chris, can you outline like a normal week of training for you? Like, because you work full time also, I guess, or you work something?
I work part-time at the gym and also at like a liquor store as well.
Best
so,
of both
yeah.
worlds.
Balance it out, yeah. So when the gym was shut because of the coronavirus, the grog shop wasn't. It was just absolutely crazy over there. But what did you ask me? Was it training?
No, I'm going to ask you, do you get staff discount?
Staff do.
Yeah. Oh, okay, just checking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just asked, like, yeah, what does a normal training week look for you?
Training week. Okay, so I train during the days, whether it be like running or hitting pads or weights. So I like do that Monday through to Thursday, like a midday sort of training. After that, then, you know, get ready for work and work at the gym, coach some classes and whatever. And then it'll be like more specific, like Muay Thai sort of training. So like where Anthony will take class or Lee will take class or Damo will hold pads or whatever. And we'll do a couple hours there. And training with the fight team as well. And then we have like the Tuesdays, Thursdays, those are always like the really intense sort of ones because it's like fight team training sort of days. And yeah, we had one just last week. It was crazy. it was very full on, heaps of clinching, heaps of pads, and yeah. But you all suffer together, so bonding, whatever. But yeah, then Fridays I'll go run a local mountain. I say mountain, like they're not massive, you know, like a bit tall. It's not Everest that I'm running, but I'll go run a few around Canberra, head off to work, come back, and then Saturdays is again, like we've got sparring and another few hours there, and working at the gym. And then Sundays, which is my rest day, kind of is also like my work day. So I'll go work a full day at the liquor store. So yeah, lots of training, lots of working, very busy, but keeps me entertained. So I can't complain that much. It's a good life.
When you say you coach at the gym, are you taking kind of privates? Are you mostly doing classes? What's your role in the gym as a coach like?
Yeah, so I do private lessons like PTs, and I take the beginners as well. And we've just got a new roster that's coming out, so it looks like I'll be doing some of the intermediate classes as well. So yeah, I think I started working at the gym when I quit my other job. So the one that I quit to focus on my fight for Leone. After that fight was when I started to like get more involved with the gym, because I've always been I've always been an assistant coach at the gym ever since I was like maybe like 12, 13, 14, Anthony's got me just to help out with like the little kids classes. That's right. How can I forget the little kids? They're on holidays at the moment. so kids ranging from like 5 years old to like 15 years old. We have programs at the gym for them. 16 years old. And I was assisting them for years and years, but now I've started to take on the like 5 to 10-year-old age bracket, which is really fun. It can be very challenging at times. Yeah, they're children, but it's all good. It helps me grow as a coach as well. So yeah, or I'll help out with reception work as well that needs to be done with Tracy or Maz. Yeah.
So someone that hasn't been to Phoenix Gym before, explain the facilities because it's actually quite big. Well, I remember maybe the old facility because I don't think I've been to your new place yet. So yeah.
Haven't you?
Yeah.
I've been there.
Mama, have you been?
Yeah, I've been there. I've been there a couple of times,
Yeah. I just sent them down. I go, boys, go down there. Sorry.
Yeah. So we used to have the mega gym, but then we moved to a different location in the same suburb. So we're like basically around the corner. But we have our reception area, which has like our stock in it as well. So like shorts, gloves, whatever you need, we've got it. That's fairly big in itself. It's always nice and heated there because Naz and Tracy turn the heater on. You never want to leave if you walk out there to go get something. So don't make me go back in the gym. But when you go into the gym itself, it's this like big warehouse basically. I want to say Anthony's probably going to kill me. It's got maybe like 100 meters in length. I'm pretty sure we've got a full sized like competition standard boxing ring in there. I think 12 bags hanging, and we have like a full weights room as well. So it's pretty big, but well, probably if like the biggest, one of the most biggest in Australia, which is pretty cool. I'm very, very lucky to have that facility.
It's just thinking about like because like you get like at one time. I remember Anthony was talking about it. It's like there'll be like 100 people in there at once, like in like going between classes. So it gets quite packed as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it can do, but not since the Rona. Can't have 100 people in there at the moment. But
that's fair.
Yes, prior to that, and when restrictions are fully lifted again, it'll go back to having, a good couple, well, not good couple, so like about 100 people in there at one time. Yeah.
Yeah, good atmosphere, definitely. So going from there, what was the other thing? Oh yeah, so I remember like back in the day, Phoenix went for an MMA phase. Like, did you ever think about ever crossing over combat sports at any point, or Muay Thai? That's what I'm doing.
Well, I mean, I've done a couple like kickboxing fights, but other than that, like not really. I wouldn't mind maybe boxing just to get me more fights and to keep me fighting more regularly, and keeping my weight down rather than like getting too relaxed, and having to cut more than what I want to for a fight. So I have thought maybe about boxing, and then MMA, like maybe I haven't really done much of it, like a little bit here and there. If I ever wanted to, like Anthony could teach me these things, but it's more, the focus is at the moment Muay Thai at the moment, and you just got to live for the moment because that's all you've got. So yeah,
it's like it's like I remember Nick Stone putting a concept to me. This guy he goes, it'd be good. What? Boxing with elbows in a pit. In a pit. I was going, yeah.
4-ounce MMA gloves as well.
Yeah. That. How much do you boxing elbows? That might be alright.
Yeah, no. I mean, I always find when I'm shadow sparring and just boxing, I accidentally throw some elbows in. I'm like, oh no. I've started to take more boxing classes at the gym as well, and I have to remind myself, okay, you can't kick. Do not do kicks in basics. All right, just punching, no kicking.
Fair enough. Like, if the occasion ever rose, like if one championship knocked on the door, and like to say, hey, I want you to fight, like, but like it's in the MMA gloves from there. How would you feel about that? And we just go, oh yeah, might suit me a bit better, or you go, oh, I might have to change my training up a little bit?
In Muay Thai?
Yeah, so yeah, Muay Thai rules, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll do it. Like, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. It's different punching in them, for sure. But no, I'll do it. Why not?
Yeah, you're like,
All experience.
That's okay.
Plenty of blood. Any other?
Yeah. So Phoenix has had a lot of very well known fighters over the years. Like everyone knows Lee. Everyone loves Lee. People know yourself. Tell me about some of your kind of more up-and-coming training partners. Like, you've got a couple of guys that have just started to kind of become regulars. Like, I've been really impressed with Liv Kerr. She's coming along really well. Tell us who we should be watching for out of Phoenix.
Yeah, well, definitely Liv Kerr.
Yeah.
She's gnarly. She's very, very stubborn and very, very competitive. Just like me. It goes great at training sometimes. But definitely look out for her. She's just an absolute tank. She's a vegan as well. And you just look at her and you're like, I don't understand how you have that, like, build, but yet you're a vegan. Like, it's absolutely crazy. So, like, good on her. But also Brock Rowley, we have him in our fight team as well. He's only had a few fights, but he's definitely, one of our up-and-comers. And other than that, we have quite a small fight team.
Yeah.
That's okay. Like, quality over quantity anyway, so why not? But we have a few people as well who are just starting out but haven't had their fights yet because, unfortunately, of the current situations that we're in with coronavirus and all that, they were due to have fights this year. Yeah. But because of all that, they haven't been able to, which is fine because they're going to be more than ready whenever things open up again. And it's going to be pretty hectic fights, those ones.
Yeah, definitely.
And do you find with the up-and-comers now that you've been at it for a few years, are you kind of are you sort of mentoring them along a little bit? Is there kind of that dynamic in your fight team?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the more experienced do help out the inexperienced. Like, Lee's the head of our fight team, and he's still a current fighter, but he's still holding pads for us. Damo as well, who's like one of the head of the fight teams too. He just doesn't fight anymore. Yeah. But he holds for us. So even we even have Jared Reese, an absolutely gnarly fighter as well, but is retired now. And he holds pads. So it's always, you scratch my back, I scratch yours sort of thing. You all look after each other. Yeah. Even if you're retired, you come in and you still help. And then the same treatment is expected as you, you get higher and higher up in levels. So it's all like a big circle. It just keeps on going. Yeah.
And when someone's coming up to the gym and they kind of start to go, right, I'm looking to have a fight, like I want to be a fighter, what would you say is kind of like, what's the main piece of advice that you give to someone who says, yeah, like I want to have a go, I want to get in the ring?
Well, make it your priority. Like, don't say, oh yeah, I want to do this and then only train like twice a week sort of thing. You have to be there every night. You have to do what your coaches tell you to, even if you don't like it. If they say go run 10K, you go run 10K. You shut up and you do it, and you put the hard work in so that you can become a fighter. Because if you're someone who is coming up, you have to prove yourself. You have to prove that you want to be there. You have to prove that you can be there. So best way to do it is to make it your priority. Don't have any excuses like, I want to take my parents out to breakfast or whatever. Breakfast can wait, okay? Like, you got to train first, and you got to, if this is something that you really, really want, well, then act like it. Don't just come in for an hour class twice a week and be like, yeah, I'm going to fight, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds like a new thing, sure. Breakfast can wait.
Yeah. Come on,
I like it.
don't need to go out and have brunch. Yeah, you've got to go run that mountain.
Of course not.
That's our merchandise idea. Don't steal it.
Just gonna be merchandising everywhere.
And do you think it's important on a fight team for, like, fighters essentially, like, do you think you got to call each other out a little bit? Like, do you think it's important that everyone's willing to say, like, hey, man, like, you've been slacking a little bit. Like, I haven't seen you for a couple of days. Like, do you think, is that the kind of dynamic you got, like, holding each other accountable? Do you think that's something, would you call that something you need?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we used to have this punishment where if you were to miss a class, like one of the classes that you have to do as a fighter, if you miss a class, you get on the assault bike and you have to burn 450 calories, but you do like 1 minute on, 1 minute off. It is disgusting. I hate that. It is not fun at all. So I never missed a class. But unfortunately, it is a part of my training schedule now that I have to do it. So I think I lucked out on that one. But yeah, definitely hold each other accountable. If you notice someone hasn't been there for a few days, you send them a message and be like, well, what's going on, you know? Why are you doing this? What's up? And if it's something, you know, that needs a little bit more like seriousness or like more talking to, like to pull your head in, like Anthony will definitely do that.
That's great. Yeah, accountability is like, you know, it's going to keep everyone together and online.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you're not dragging anyone along. You just leave them behind.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't want to be here, then don't be here.
Of course, definitely. Cool. Any other questions?
His
Damn.
voice is asking questions.
Siri. Shade. Awesome. Cool. Oh, look, Zoe, thanks for coming on. It's been awesome talk for that.
No, yeah, thank you so much for having me.
It's no problem. We'll probably see you soon anyway from that one. As long as like no other restrictions come in the next few weeks, but we'll see how we go.
Yeah.
But other than that, do you want to let people know where they can find like Instagram and Facebook so they can follow your career?
Yeah, so if you could just follow me at Zoe _Putorak _Muaythai, you'll find me in Instagram and Zoe Putorak Muay Thai on Facebook. You can also look up Phoenix's Instagram as well because we've got some pretty cool photos on there and you can keep up to date with our fighters.
Yeah, great to hear. Awesome. So yeah, people that are listening to us now, so like this is also on YouTube if you're just listening, so follow us on our YouTube channel, which is Combat Chat Podcast. Also, if you are watching us on YouTube, you can follow us on Spotify and iTunes and all other podcast platforms. We're on Instagram and Facebook at Combat Chat Podcast from there. And hey, thanks again for listening. We'll catch you next time, guys.
See ya.
Cool. Us.
All right.